it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want.
Hey guys, Coach Dan here, aka Hasselhoff. I've been lifting for over 20 years. I have a degree in exercise and sports science, and I've been coaching for over 10 years. On this channel, we're all about evidence-based muscle growth or hypertrophy training. In this video, we're going to go through upper body workout number 3 for the week. I'm going to show you what I do, explain why I do it, and show you exactly how to execute to apply to your own training. So this being upper body workout number 3, my new program split is upper body, lower body, upper body, lower body, upper body, lower body. This is the 3rd upper body. This is also January 2nd, not that that's relevant, so it's an early start to the year. Yesterday, smashed out a good leg session, it was good. My butt is already sore, everything went really well there. Motivation was high, so we're gonna carry that momentum into today. So the reason I've kind of changed to all upper body sessions is to distribute volume, instead of a split program such as chest, back, or push, pull, or anything like that, is so I can just use all of the upper body muscle groups and just distribute the volume where it's needed. So if I think about muscle groups that don't need a lot of volume in my upper body, chest. So I can do an upper body session, not a full push session, bring the chest volume down, and then put all that volume to the other muscle groups that I'm prioritizing, back, shoulders, etc. And then I get 3 opportunities of that per week. Instead of having 2 full push workouts, where what I need is only a couple of sets of chest, we make it all upper bodies instead. So 3 upper bodies as a frequency, 3 lower bodies, and then we do a little bit of lateral delt work on the lower body day. So this upper body day, we're going to start with lat dominant movements first. We're first going to start with the vertical pull. So the vertical movements, we're aiming at the lower lats, and the horizontal movements, we're going to do a single arm row. We're aiming at the upper lats. So lower lats being that they kind of angle in down towards your hip, attached to the front of your arm. Their goal is to pull your arm down in that direction, and that's what we're focused on, pulling the arm down. With this particular one, this is a leverage pull down by Star Trek, really good machine. I think one of the challenging things here is this frame getting in the way. So I've been taking my hands on the outside of this, and I've found that to be very effective. The seat height doesn't adjust, so you kind of have to manipulate your body to where it feels good for you. So tuck the knees under, make sure you're wedged into place. From here, big stretch up, pull down, stretch. So this one is a new machine to me on the overall scale of things, so taking a little bit of time to kind of get the handle on it, figure out my positioning, figuring out where I want to put my hands and all that kind of stuff, but that's fine. We'll figure it out over the next couple of weeks and then progress with it. And that's the thing, this being a new split, a new gym, all these kinds of things, it might take a little bit of time to figure out some things, but once you do it, then you just note it down in your program, and once you've got that, you just work with that over the course of time. All right, let's get started. January 2nd, let's smash it out. We're right next door from that leverage pull down, and now we go single arm compound row. So this is going to be a single arm variation target at the upper lats. If we think about the pull down we've just done, that's pulling the arms down to target the lower lats. Now we're pulling the arm in this direction, targeting the upper lat. So the upper lats, if you think about them, or thoracic lats, kind of attach to your arm, wrap under your rib cage and head in towards your thoracic spine. So if we line a movement up such that we're pulling our arm like this and around in that direction, that kind of lines you up so you're focusing on, theoretically focusing on the upper lats as much as possible. Whereas a pull down, that's going towards the pelvis or iliac lats. So the idea is there that is biased towards that. This is a pin-loaded version of this machine. I've also done the plate-loaded one. The pin-loaded one, the thing about this one is going to be that the resistance is going to be similar throughout versus plate-loaded machines that often work on hinges. So they change resistance depending on how they are, how that weight is, where you stack the weight on, is towards the hinge. This one should probably be similar throughout. What that will mean for me is that at the end of the set, I'm probably going to do something like partial reps. So finding a kind of distance. So once I can't get it all the way back, then I'll kind of go partial reps to a kind of halfway-ish point or a third point and see how long I can do those for some extra stimulus. Now this could easily be done both arms at one time, but I've always found doing things single arm on this just feel that little bit more effective. So what we'll do, we've got our strap as always. I'll take that in because it's single arm. I can use the other arm to kind of help me strap in. Grab the handle, place my foot on here. I like to place it up nice and high, so it's going to help and block me from being pulled back in. I'll then pull the weight back, line up such that my arm and lat is all nice and in line with this arm of the machine, and we pull. Stretch it out, pull. So lat movements close to the body, arm in, wrapping in towards the spine, or arm down, heading towards the pelvis. All right. Let's keep the momentum going. Set exercise number 2, upper lats coming up. All right, so lat work done. One exercise for the lower lat, which was that leverage pull down. One exercise for the upper lat, which was that Nautilus compound row, single arm. Now we move into the upper back. So my preference as far as upper back training is for the mid and lower trap specifically, or mid and lower portion of the upper back. So most of my upper back exercises, I do one exercise that goes up like that, like the shrugging motion, but other than that, I might mostly like to come horizontally and then down to focus on the mid and lower part of the upper back. So with that in mind, we're going to go this chest supported, prime, plate loaded pull down. That's what we'll call it. It's on here, it's lat pull down. So what this is going to allow for me is to be able to move and round my shoulder blades while stabilizing myself against the chest pad. And then the idea of this one is to depress and retract the shoulder blade. So it's that downward movement, hopefully focusing on that lower portion of the upper back. Hopefully that's not too complex. I've got these handles on there. I have used the other handles before, but we're going to try these ones to begin with. So we'll grab the handles, tuck these on, get that solid position, and then we pull the shoulders down and back. So checking out in the mirror the line of this machine and movement to see if it's lined up for where I want it to be. And that'll be that. So the tough thing about these prime machines, it's a pro and a con, is that there are so many things you can adjust. So to kind of, but that is also a pro in that you can really customize it to what suits you. But yeah, this goes this way, this goes this way, this angles this way, this goes up and down. So it can get a little bit complex and hard to figure out. But again, after a couple of weeks, I'll note it down, look at video, look at myself, see if it feels effective, see if it's training what I train, make little tweaks until we get to something that feels like we're gonna, do that long term, note it down, and then just go back to that every time. So up front, it's gonna take a little bit of work. Like, I don't know if I'm too low, too high. I don't know if that's right. I'm pretty certain that's right. I don't know if that's right. So it's just about tweaking it as we go. Have a look, modify until we get what feels completely right. Or alternatively, if a few different things feel completely right, you can also treat them as almost two separate movements, so you have two different exercises. All right, enough chit chat, let's get into it. Next up, chest supported T-bar row. Now, if you watched the upper body workout from a couple of days ago, firstly, watching me a couple of days in a row, something should be said to that. And secondly, you'll notice that I did both of these two exercises 2 days ago. Now, that was not my intended workout. That was on New Year's Eve, and there was limited hours at where I was planning to go to the gym. So I came here and I've done these two. This is what I plan to do on this day normally, but that day was, not planned. It was planned to be somewhere else. So we've gone the chest supported pull down variation, very good. Lower part of the upper back. Now we go chest supported T-bar row, focusing on the kind of mid back-ish. Now I do really love the chest supported T-bar row, and even if I decide to go to two different gyms, or my other workout that I was mentioning last week, I might do it anyway, because of all the upper back movements I do, chest supported T-bar row has always been one of my favorites. And I think at that gym as well, that's going to be the case as well. So if I'm going to do it on 2 separate days, I could do a couple of different things just to mix it up a touch, just because you don't need to mix it up even. You could do the same rep range, but I might do a slightly different rep range, or alternatively take a slightly different handle, and that's what I'm going to try today. So there's a handle that goes directly out to the side. I would call that 90 degrees. And then there's this 45-degree handle. Now, the other day I did the 90-degree handle. I'm going to try the 45 today. So I'll take my straps, strap in, bring the weight out, chest proud so you get your side shoulder. This will be my first shot at doing this neutral grip on a consistent basis with this machine, so we'll see what weight we're going to lift, and then we will get to rip it and tear it. Okay, next up, the leverage chest press. So this is where this program takes maybe what you would call a detour from the traditional style of programming, which I've done all back work or all pull work up until now. So you might call that a pull or a back workout. But because I'm doing full upper body sessions, I also put a little bit of work into my into my chest. Well, triceps, biceps, rear delts, and like getting a little bit of love through all the muscles of the upper body. On most upper body days, there is some day where I just don't require to do some stuff, so don't have to worry about getting the volume in on that day. But yeah, now we work into a chest exercise, the leverage chest press. So we're ticking off a little bit of everything. We do it every couple of days, and that's how this upper body, lower body is going. So this leverage chest press feels very nice. Now, I cannot explain to you the, what's this? This isn't biomechanics, this is some kind of just general mechanics of this machine. I can do basic stuff, but essentially, this is called a leverage chest press. This attaches to this attaches to this. Those weights are on this hinge, so I don't know what is going on as far as resistance goes. I just know that it feels very effective. So again, this is new to me on the overall scale of things as far as exercise selection goes. So taking some time to kind of figure out where this arm positioning is going to go, where this seat's going to go. But essentially wherever I set it, I essentially want my arm directly opposing that. So if I was up too high, you'd be like that. It's trying to go out in this direction there, but your body would naturally want to press in that direction. So we want to make sure this is in level of where the machine is heading. And that's a real basic way to kind of get into position. So that's how I kind of figure out initially what's set up. If I detour from that, there should be a pretty good justification. So for this one, I'll get my hands set, slide down into position. We get a nice big stretch, nice proud chest, expose the chest to the tension, and we press, and we press. And as always, you're thinking about the job of the pec is to pull the arm in towards the midline. Essentially, it's attaching to the front of your arm, similarly to your lat, but instead of where the lat might pull your arm around towards your spine and down towards your pelvis on your back, your chest will pull your arm down towards the lower portion of the rib cage. We call that the costal pec. In the sternum, so pulling the arm across like that, and then to the inner third of the collarbone or clavicle, so it will pull the arm up like that. So incline movements, incline flies, etc. So for this one, it's pretty horizontal. So we're thinking about pulling our arm in towards the midline, lining the resistance up with our arm such that we're pushing all in the same direction. Now, this is a stage of the workout where I'm testing my New Year's resolution from yesterday. Resolution gets a bad connotation because people don't really stick to resolutions, but it's before every set, before every exercise, kind of refocus. I kind of sat down, looked at my program after my pull down variation, thought I still got heaps to go, kind of drifted a little bit mentally, but for that T-bar row, got focused back in. Just focus on the next set, putting in that good intensity of effort and giving it some each time, let the rest take care of itself. All right, again, don't know what weight we're going to use, so let's figure it out in the next couple of sets and then smash it out. up our tricep isolation work. So this is the Nautilus Nitro tricep extension. Very nice. Me liking this one a lot. So this upward position of the arm means we get a big stretch through the tricep. So you think about the long head of the tricep. It doesn't only pass the elbow, but also passes and attaches to the scapula. So when you fully bend the elbow, that does stretch the tricep out, but the long head probably requires this position of the shoulder to go up to further stretch and lengthen it out. Also, angling it out to the side, again, potentially lines up with the tricep just that little bit more and makes it potentially more effective. Like you've got overhead extensions where you just have the bar like this, but this angle out to the side, I think makes sense for the tricep. So we get our elbows, we line them up with the axis of rotation here, make sure the tricep is parallel and sitting on that bench pretty flush. If we're up too high, it'll be just elbow on the bench. If we're down too low, you're trying to probably get pulled off into that kind of position there. So big elbow flexion, extend, control the way down, gentle tap, extend. Of my brief experience doing this, it feels very nice. I haven't done it in programming, so I haven't done it across time and gotten stronger at it and better at it, so I'm looking forward to that for this one here. I like it that's a machine and not always doing cable machines, because cable machines are fine and good, but they do move a little bit. This, the machine, goes back and forth, so it's just you. So I think that should be a good thing. All right, let's find what weight we're going to lift for today, and let's smash them out. Alright, our isolation bicep exercise. Now, because I'm doing so much pulling work or so much back work, I'm not doing heaps of isolation work. So it's good I do 2 sets here and then I move on. So yeah, you think about all of the pulling movements. Because I have to flex my elbow, the bicep will contribute to that. So I track that, and some people track that as an indirect set. So maybe it's not worth as much as this set for the biceps, but it is some work for the biceps. So with that in mind, I only do a couple here, and then we just kind of track progress over time. If I need more, I'll add it. If I'm not recovering or too sore on some muscle groups, I'll take them away and things like that. So it's just a bit of an experimentation game from my previous program where I had a frequency of training biceps 2 times per week. I did a big chunk of work, but I got a big break. So it was 5 sets, and now I've dropped it down to 2, but spread it over 3 workouts. So there has been a reduction in volume for that, but the back volume's still high, so the biceps work during that, as I said. So we'll see. We'll see if it needs more. What I did notice last week is that they were sore all week. So, and it could have been from moving and just lifting things and the such, but nonetheless, we'll start the volume low per session and then see if it progresses, basically. If I make good progress, I don't have to add. If I'm, not recovering as much, I might have to take it out of one of the 3 upper body days per week. We'll see. So I'm going to do a behind the back cable curl. So I've got this bench here set in a functional trainer, or this one's called a Nautilus Freedom Trainer. This one's pretty good because it's very adjustable. And what I'll essentially do is I'll go back, grab the handles, step over in front of the machine, and set in that position there. From there, we curl. Now, the reason that this exercise potentially has some merit is because the bicep brachii, which is a muscle, which is the bicep, passes the elbow and then also passes into the scapula. So if we thought about for the long head of the tricep, we wanted to raise our arm up to stretch it out. For the bicep brachii, we potentially want to take our arm back to stretch it out. Now, then you would go, okay, well, why do you do different like preacher curl variations? Because there's some other muscles in our upper arm, particularly one called a brachialis, which only passes the elbow. So being in that position there, we might essentially bias the brachialis and not use the bicep brachii. So I'm doing both across time. And you can do yours like I do. So I do a arm curl like this one day. That's one of my exercises. A preacher curl, that's one of my exercises. And then this one, that's one of my exercises. So we're mixing up that shoulder position. Potentially that's worthwhile. Potentially it's a waste of exercises, or I don't know what it'll be a waste of. It's not really too much of an issue. Anyway, all that said, stretch, bicep, back here, at least worth a try. It feels very effective. Okay, got to find our weight. I think I'm pretty happy with that setup, and then we're on. Same setup, pretty much same position, but different exercise. We're going to go a rear delt fly, seated, high to low, in this kind of position here. Now I'm going to do it single arm at a time. I tried to figure out a way to do it both. They never quite feel the same. They always kind of collide, your arms collide, all that kind of shit. I've got these cuffs on there so I don't have to focus on my grip. I'm going from high to low because there is that potential that the orientation of the rear deltoid kind of starts at the deltoid tuberosity and heads down towards your scapula. So taking it down and doing exercise where they can't sort of come down potentially has some merit. And some people out there would even categorize the rear delts into 3 different categories. Some sort of different positioning, working different parts of it. I don't really care for worrying about that in so much detail yet until there's more information out there. But I do movements where they come from here and they sort of change in direction. So what we'll do is we'll reach over, slot in, sit down. Seated's not absolutely necessary, but it was already here. Creates a bit of stability, and we're coming I'm sort of aiming my arm. I sort of set that cable height up such that when I kind of return back to the machine, my arm is kind of headed towards my chin. Benefit of one arm at a time as well, as we can get that stretch across the body without colliding into the arms and one going over and under and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to do it. I keep trying to find a way to do it one at one time. Both at the same time, such that I don't have to do both sides, but just never quite hits the same, as the kids say. All right, let's try that angle. We'll test it out. We'll see if it feels good. If it's good, we'll keep it, we'll note it down, and we'll carry on with it. If not, we can sub it out, or we can just change the positioning and stuff like that. It does look pretty high to me, but so far that feels quite good. All right, vámonos.
Alright guys, we're going to finish this video off a little bit differently with a voiceover, just to kind of show exactly when I'm doing a new machine that I haven't really tried too much before, how much setup time I take. And the first time I do it takes a fair amount of setup, so I'll have a couple of reps, figure out the setting, kind of adjust my seat and kind of find where I feel best. So this is a Nautilus Nitro shoulder press or overhead press. And what I try to do with these machines is I kind of set a height and then do a couple of reps, and I essentially want to line myself up so my arm is pressing in the same direction as the machine is going. So what you can find sometimes with machines, if you set up incorrectly, you'll kind of be either your elbow behind the weight, in front of the weight, or something's just not lined up. So essentially what we want to do is kind of line it up so you can see my elbow's way behind, so I know I brought my seat up too high. And essentially I'll just kind of find that. Now once I do have it, I will essentially note it down in my program, just the setting of the seat, the setting of the armrest, any kind of little note tips that I might have for it. So future me kind of looks at it and goes, oh, that's how I set up. I don't have to do that anymore. I just go straight to that setting each time. And then eventually it becomes a bit of a habit. So that'll take some time up front, but eventually you'll get it. So when doing that, make sure you note it down, get all that in line, and you'll be good to go. All right, let's finish this workout off. I'll show you some raw footage of my shoulder press. And remember, as always, it's about progress over perfection. Coach Dan, signing off.